Fitness, business, success. Overcoming small business failure and ensuring success. 40% of small businesses fail in the first year. Of those that survived year one, 80% fail in 5 years. And of those who survive 5 years, another 80% fail in yet another 5 years. On a much larger scale, though, just 14% of Fortune 500 companies from 1955 remain. And a massive 52% since 1990 have failed. Now, on a larger scale, things are much more complex, and it's a little bit more difficult to pinpoint exactly where they went wrong. But on a smaller scale, you will see how incredibly easy it is to ensure success. In the same way that anybody can become elite relative to the general population at anything because of how clueless the general population is. So as long as you have, number one, a decent product, it doesn't need to be revolutionary, and you don't need to revolutionize anything, but you can't be trying to monetize a turd in a bottle. Although seeing some people's spending habits, that may not be a bad idea. But first and foremost, the product itself has to be at least semi-decent. Number two, you have to have a good attitude, meaning that you are willing to do what it takes to succeed. But you don't have a vulgar pride in any one area of your business, meaning you practice non-attachment in recognizing if something moves you from your point A to point B, as in reaching your goals, you will adopt it. So who is this video for? Anybody who either wants to make themselves money in business, anybody who wants to make others money in business, or anybody that just wants to understand the framework for success in business. So have I covered the entire population yet? So why do most people get into business? Most businesses are started during an entrepreneurial sneeze, as Michael Gerber terms it. When, like the cat reading the newspaper, instead of someone saying, "I should buy a boat," they say, "I should start a business." Their business knowledge is virtually nil. They may have a passion for their business, but usually it is brought on by a lack of desire to work for others, or a hatred for their current job, or a desire for the possibility of freedom that they think will come from their business. So they're either looking for a carrot, some sort of reward that will come as an end result, or they have a bad stick in their back. They have a bad pain that they're trying to cure with this business. It is not, in most cases, the immense passion for business combined with the passion for the niche, combined with the true understanding of what it takes to be successful within it. So what does it take to be successful? This is something, I didn't come up with this, although I have brought these concepts together, but I will be linking down below where you can go and you can find the 7 Levers podcast, the Preneur Cast, and learn a little bit more about all the topics that will be covered in this video. So the principles in practice. I'm sure it won't come as any shock to you if I said that increasing one of these levers by 10% will increase your profitability by 10%. So if we increased all 7 levers by 10% each, by how much will our overall profitability increase? Most people would naturally answer 70%, but they'd be wrong. Increasing all 7 levers by 10% actually increases overall profitability by 94.8%, or it nearly doubles the business that you're dealing with. So let's get into the actual 7 levers. Lever number 1, traffic or leads. It's all about the first interaction with your customers, or I should say it's all about the first interaction your customers will have with your business. Without it, you won't make sales. Web traffic, PPC or pay per click, is considered to be the best form of traffic generation. People go to Google and type in their problems to find a supplier with the solution. You only pay when someone clicks your adverts, so keeping control of your costs is very easy. Google offers search ads that are location based, so you can choose to only display to customers in your region. Use mobile specific and banner ads through Google, Yahoo, Bing, and others to increase your traffic. Facebook advertising is also highly effective, as is search engine optimization or SEO to target keywords through your blog or website. Finally, the last in the powerhouse of online traffic generation is affiliate marketing. So you can run your own affiliate program through Commission Junction, ClickBank, Share a Sale, Google, or Linkshare, or considering shopping aggregators such as Shopping.com, Google Merchant, and ShopBot for Australian businesses. Consider all of these options and then choose one or two to focus on and make incremental improvements in your online traffic. And you can do this in a variety of ways. If you wish to get started with this, I will be linking a video down below outlining the very basics of it. Next under traffic is foot traffic, often ignored these days in favor of online advertising. Foot traffic is still one of the most effective ways of attracting people to your business. Using resources such as Google Places to let people know that you are geo-targeted, location-based searches or mobile searches, making sure your Google Places listing is comprehensive, searchable, and appealing, meaning that you have either video and pictures or both, and keep it well maintained. And don't forget to try to get as many reviews as possible to make your listing more powerful. Something very simple that somebody could do is with their best customers at the end of every sale, they could simply ask them, "Oh, did you enjoy your service today?" Now, obviously, the customers are like, "Yeah, of course." And then you could say, "Well, we're trying to grow this business, and if you enjoyed it, do you think other people would enjoy it too?" They're like, "Oh, yeah, I tell my friends, say, one thing that would really help us out is actually if you left us a Google review." And then you can go from there. And this can be leveraged in a variety of ways. For example, something very simple that can come from that, although depends on how you want to consider this, but you could find out where this person resides and then post flyers based on that with saying, "Check us out on Google for more reviews." And then the people that are in the immediate area of this person that originally posted this review, well, there's a good chance that quite a few of them will know them. And if you have a general service like a restaurant would be a great thing to do this with because everybody needs to eat. Whereas if you're a canoe shop, that might not be the best thing to do, but it can be leveraged. Everything that you'll hear in this video will be able to be leveraged in a variety of different ways. Advertising. So consider getting some street signage to entice people to walk through your store. Get an A-frame outside of the door. Make it a chalkboard. Come up with comedic quotes. Make bold calls to action and daily offers. You could get your frame subsidized or provided by a supplier. Use bright, hard to miss window signage on your premises. So fluorescent, anything that's fluorescent. Make offer in fluoro writing. Sign up to a Groupon style service to generate customers and view each one as a lead that has a potential to become a long-term regular customers. Go out, network with people, and interact with your community. So you can use things like Meetup. You can go to forums or conferences, or you can use trade magazines, go to trade shows, and meet people that way. There's a variety of ways that you could leverage what you're already doing. So you could even have a breakfast and greet at a certain place where you just hand out, so well, let's say you're in a health related niche. So you could hand out something healthy, so an apple and a granola bar with an advertising, a newsletter, whatever it is, something you could find a place and you can do this. Or you can use traditional methods of advertising, including fax outs, cold calling, shopping docket ads, direct mail, and yellow pages, letter drops, press releases, and magazine inserts, local radio, podcasts, and newspaper ads. There are many options, so don't limit yourself to what you've always done or what everyone else in your space does. Be bold, take action, and you'll be amazed how easy it is to generate the 10% increase you need to activate in the first lever. So with a lot of these, it's all about split testing. It's all about seeing what's going to work for you. Some people even hate on billboards, but billboards can be made to work. I mean, a simple hack that you can use with a billboard is a lot of people think that they need to continually hit people with billboards. They need to continue to advertise themselves. Well, if you could just be on the main road where you hit the majority of people, isn't that much better? And then diversifying the rest of your advertising as opposed to taking out a ton of billboards only to realize that they're not really going to work that well for you when you can hit the majority of traffic in one place. So a lot of these things, it's about testing and finding what works for your niche. Obviously, all of these in theory can work, and I guarantee you, you will find some business owner that will rant and rave about each individual one. But it's all about testing and using a low risk, high return type approach to a lot of these. So lever 2, opt-ins. Opt-ins are categorized as every lead you get from traffic, which you can turn into a real prospect. They include telephone queries, online requests for quotes, email subscriptions, and squeeze pages on your site. They can be generated off-site through campaigns on sites like LinkedIn and Facebook, other social media, Instagram, YouTube, whatever it is, or at live events such as exhibitions and trade fairs. Opt-ins are realized when you take a potential customer and, quote, shake their frame, meaning you make them change their frame of mind and persuade them to engage with you. Getting the most out of your foot traffic. You can actually use specified techniques to generate more options from your foot traffic. Offering something for free, such as a giveaway product or a trial of your service, is a good place to start. You can ask open-ended questions, such as, is this your first time in the store? Or what brings you in today, to engage the customer in an open up dialogue. This is much better than the closed off dialogue, such as can I help you, which is usually met with a negative response. Train your sales staff to engage with every person that drops by. So at the end of the day, it's all about converting and making sales, right? And this is why people don't like giveaways, because they think in some cases it might cheapen what you're doing, but in other cases it might bring in traffic. Again, it's all individual, and finding the niche within the niche of all of these that's going to work for you. But something simple that you can do is, for example, one story that I heard is there was a fashion website and they were like, yeah, my customers don't buy online, but they do love our stuff. Everybody loves their stuff that buys it, online or in person, but they just mostly buy in person. So what this person came up with, these guys from the Preneur Cast, they told them to use a $20 gift card online and just give it away. Just give it away, because at the end of the day, if it's all about sales, then who cares if you give away $20 if you're converting them into more sales, or if you're converting them in a down the line type sale. So within any product, if you know somebody's a lifetime buyer, let's say 50% that purchase a product after first time become lifetime buyers, meaning they renew at whatever period, then you can go to advertising places and simply say to them, I'll give you all of the profits on the first sale. Obviously, I can't really give you more than that, but come up with something to advertise for me. Come up with an ad campaign and post it. Post it on your newsletter, post it on radio, post it on TV, whatever it is. And that way you're not taking any actual upfront costs. You're just selling products. You're not cheapening your product either. You're giving this other person all the profit. But you know that since they're a down the line type purchaser, meaning they're a lifetime buyer, you know that whatever it is, 20, 30, 40%, they'll be buying it. So it makes sense. So online opportunities. For online opt-ins, you can use tools like Website Optimizer, Google Analytics, and I will be uploading this transcript somewhere so you guys can read through it and find what's going to work well for you. And if you don't hear me say it perfectly the first time, and Zen Tester to check out how people respond to your site. Split testing lets you analyze different pages, fonts, and offers to see what works. If you're not confident, get a tech-savvy entrepreneur through Elance or Odesk to do this for you. One page equals one action. For each page of your site, make sure you guide your customers to get the best response and give a clear call to action for the outcome you desire. For example, if you want a visitor to call you after going online, put the phone number on every single page of your website. If you want them to subscribe, give them a bright button to do just that. Having a really strong about and contact page on your site, and don't clown the way I say about, consider using your country flag to show who you are and where you're based. Think about using video on your site to build trust and rapport with your customers so they can meet with you face to face, so to speak. And a lot of these will be more helpful in different niches. Video, if for whatever reason you think that people might not trust what you're doing, and having a really strong about and contact page really just gives that other person confidence, because the internet is so vast. There are so many scams obviously out there because these people don't really know how to generate wealth and they don't really know these things. But it's just important to ensure that the other person is going to be confident within you. So keep it short and sweet. You only need the name and email address of your online visitor. Services like Aweber and MailChimp will automatically grab the person's location and country code. Don't bombard your clients with requests for needless information. So this is why, if you do surveys, really ask yourself, what is the information that I want? Don't just ask them, oh, who are you? How long have you known about us? If that's not relevant to what you want out of them, or if it's not relevant to what you're trying to find out. If you're trying to find out something specific that's going to help you convert sales, ask them those questions. So, which goes to the next one, engaging customers who call. For phone opt-ins, you really need to have a great script in place. Set up your script and checklist before people call. The more confidence you have, the better tonality you will have, and the better chance of increasing those opt-ins by 10%. Don't forget, all we're trying to do is increase our opt-in rate by 10%. We're not looking at going from a 3% opt-in to a 13% opt-in. That's a 400% increase. We're only working at going from a 3% opt-in to a 3.3% opt-in. It's just that simple. And another simple hack that you can do is with the phones. So let's say that people call into whatever it is that your business is, and you have to put them on hold for a certain amount of time. What you can do is factor out the cost of outsourcing somebody to create some sort of hold script, whatever it is, as far as you can even do offers. Say, we offer this, we offer that, buy this, buy that, do a call to action as they wait, give them more information maybe. Maybe you get a certain request all the time, so it can be answered with your hold, and then you could even transition that when the person, so let's say whatever, they're trying to find a location, you answer that with the hold message that you outsource somebody to create for you. Then at that point, you're like, yeah, it's pretty cool, eh? So what was it? Is this your first time calling us? What was it specifically that drew you into us? And you just begin to have a conversation, but it starts on the right foot because you're not wasting this person's time and you're optimizing their experience along every path of the way. And you can split test these things. You can see, again, if it's going to be worthwhile for you to have these things. You can do the math as far as the cost of it, how much it would cost, and then how many sales do you need to make based off of that for it to be worthwhile to you. And then you can even advertise those specific products if you're trying to get up to that quicker. And it's just infinite. Lever 3, conversions. Conversions happen when you take leads and prospects generated by the first two levers and turn them into customers and clients. There are some really simple techniques to achieve this. Let's look at the fundamentals. Testimonials. Ask happy clients to say a few words about your service and publish them so they are visible on your site or shop window. Now within the Preneurcast, they actually did an episode where they had somebody who has a testimonial formula that they use. So how to get great feedback. Question number 1, why were you unsure or skeptical about XYZ product? Question number 2, what ultimately made you decide to buy XYZ product? Question 3, what specific benefits have you received since using XYZ product or service? And question 4, who would you recommend the product or service to and why? Now the problem with a lot of testimonials is that they can be all over the place. So this can actually come off as very disingenuous because you'll go to somebody's website and you'll see somebody's written 3 sentences. They're like, oh, it's a great service, I really enjoy it. That's pretty much all they'll say. And then you'll have somebody that'll legit type a life story. And the problem is that people then just are like, oh, this is bullshit. Did they pay for this testimonial? Is this even real? What you can do with testimonials, depending on your niche, is even get them to record a YouTube video for you. And then you can just have that up on your channel. You can have that up on your website. You can leverage that in many different ways. Even when let's say you're contacting somebody for a joint venture, you're contacting somebody that needs to see your social proof, then you just include that. And it's very simple, to the point, and it keeps all of your testimonials consistent so that these people can see you actually have a system in place, which just bodes well for you. So guarantees. Guarantees increase conversions by providing firm commitments. Offer a money-back guarantee or even a double money-back guarantee and honor it. You may have a legal obligation to do this anyways, but publicize it clearly to encourage your faith in your products and services. So if you're getting a lot of returns, it's probably a problem with the service or product, but generally most people don't return, not even necessarily because they weren't unhappy. It's just a very awkward thing to do. So most people will seldom ever return it. But it just shows, again, you will stand behind the product. And it's not even to be scummy if somebody does return it. For example, some of the things that I do, if somebody did ask for their money back, I would be like, okay, cool. Because I understand, and this is something that everybody should understand, specifically, if you don't give this person's money back, generally the sort of headaches that they will cause in the long run are seldom worth it, and unless it was clearly in this person's fault. So I have been in certain businesses where I just wouldn't have given them back their money based on, you know what, it can be spun two ways, because this person was so stupid, they were just so egregiously bad that they probably would have made a big fuss, and I wouldn't want their business anyways. So yeah, it can be used both ways, but in any case, do your own due diligence. Payment options. So offer your clients a range of payment options to encourage sales. Consider staggered payments, lease options, monthly options, rentals, or deposits to help your customers. Again, depending on what it is. Even if someone doesn't have the cash to make an instant purchase, conversions come when you offer alternatives. So offer things like Bitcoin or bone marrow or hair, blood. Okay, I'm just kidding about those parts. But Bitcoin, maybe you might want to offer that. Free trials. Free trials are a surefire way of upping conversion rates, because by the time your customer has got to know and love your product, they won't want to do without it. I call this the puppy dog close. So father-daughter go to a place to get a puppy dog. They say, oh, we're unsure. They say, well, why don't you take him home and bring him back if you don't like him? This technique reassures your customers, of course they'll never return the dog. This technique reassures your customers that they can try out your product without risk. If you're confident you're providing a great service or product, you'll make conversions of these customers as they grow to like what you offer and make up their minds and eventually buy. Establish your market position. Potential customers are really swayed by the strength of a positive and trusted brand. Brand strength comes from a number of factors, but awards, certificates, accreditation, and training all provide reassurance that your firm can be trusted to do a great job. Make all of your accolades highly visible. Put them up in your store, show the logos on your website, and demonstrate your abilities and strengths. So let's say you have a sign outside your store. A lot of these things in local communities are so easy to win that it's just like show up and you win. You get a medal. It's like you'll be the best wine shop. You'll be the best whatever it is, just for showing up. And again, it just bodes well. You would think a lot of the younger generation might know this, but it seems a lot of the older generations probably more easily impressed for whatever reason. But yeah, that is bro science, by the way. But people just generally want to see social proof of some sort. So whatever it is, at the end of the day, it's so easy to apply for a lot of these things that it's such low risk, high return. Why not? Why not win a few medals? It can't hurt, right? So ask for the sale. Sometimes simply asking for the sale will make you a conversion. Tools like Aweber, MailChimp, and Constant Contact make it very easy to set up autoresponder sequences of emails automatically going to new subscribers on a preset schedule. And this is something that anybody can ask themselves, because a lot of people think, oh, businesses are so efficient, they have such amazing systems. Well, ask yourself this. Have you ever been in a store where you were ready to buy, it was pretty clear, and the other person was just like, they were just chilling, they were just twiddling their thumbs, and you actually had to tell them, I'm ready to purchase this. Can I go buy this? You had to actually make them money, which is crazy. But if you think about it, if that's costing $10, $20, even just $10 or $20 per day, how much that can add up. That can be the difference between making rent and not making rent, or having a decent advertising budget and not having a decent advertising budget. Limit supply, so scarcity. Customers can be convinced to buy if you limit your supply and demonstrate that what you have to offer is only available for a short time or limited time or to a certain amount of clients. The fewer things that are in the world, the more value they hold. So use this philosophy to increase conversion rates. So a lot of online marketers will include a thing like a countdown. Of course, really most of their products never end. That wouldn't really make sense, nor would it really make sense for a company to truly end it. But hey, you never know. In this day and age, you never know. It really might be come and go. So You don't want to miss out. Finally, make it easy for your customers to purchase from you. Be on hand through live chat online, respond quickly to queries, and have big, clear call to actions that make the purchase process simple. I'm not exactly sure how any of the websites work. I don't really have much experience, but you probably can set up some sort of live chat where even if you're managing your own website, it's just maybe your own site. I would assume that you should be able to do this, but if you are online, why not have that option? Why not have a live chat option where somebody can chat with you if you are online? You may as well take advantage of that. Lever 4, items per sale. To pull your items per sale lever, what you're looking to do is to get every 10th customer to purchase an additional item. When this happens, you increase your items per sale by 10%, gaining an overall transaction average of 1.1 items. There's more to this lever than simply selling more to increase revenue. If you have items in stock that aren't selling, you've got some cash tied up in the business that you can't use somewhere else. Similarly, the more inventory you sell, the more negotiating power you have in lever 7 when you focus on your margins. So offer add-ons. Offer customers additional items that relate to their core purchases. The cheaper item should always be offered second, and it should be something that's complementary, like shoe cleaner with shoes or mascara with a blusher, or McDonald's, as they say, would you like fries with that, is the perfect add-on. That's part of their sales script. So one tactic that some guy did online is he was selling shirts. He was just selling some sailor shirts, and he was selling them. I think he was making like $100 a pop on them. And what he found is he originally just tested selling the shirt, and then he said, "Well, I'm making $100 a pop, but ideally, I'd rather make $150." So he started bundling shirts together, and he noticed that his overall revenue at the end of the month, he had sold more shirts that way. So I think he did buy two, get the third free. So he was making $150 and selling more, getting more out the door. So create package deals rather than selling items in isolation. Think about ways you can bundle them up and make them more appealing as a package. And Amazon, they're really the king of this, in my opinion, because whenever I go to buy books, they always have great bundle suggestions. And a lot of people, they think it's like, oh, it's so salesy, it's so salesy. Personally, I love when Amazon does that because generally their suggestions are great. And even, okay, let's even look at it from a YouTube perspective. I've noticed their algorithm as far as video suggestions is awesome. A lot of people are actually, I think there's a lot of people that have natural skepticism towards any sort of suggestion or something that comes from somebody else. It makes sense. Not believing in authority. But same thing with YouTube. I actually started to click on a lot of these, and a lot of these videos were very relevant. A lot of the songs I really loved, and same thing with Amazon. So create those packages. Your customers will actually appreciate you more for that. Create packages based around predefined segments, incorporate slow-moving stock, and encourage package selection over the single product. Refills and consumables are both items that you can turn into a great package to boost items per sale opportunities. Ask your customers to direct you. Use questionnaires to quiz your customers about what they need, want, or value, and then use this consultative selling approach to identify ways you can offer additional items per sale. So one thing anybody can test is at the end of every sale, you can just ask one question, because most people are like, when they see, oh, would you like to fill out a survey? That's very long. But if you want some very specific information, maybe you're looking to split test something about that item or about the bundle or whatever it is, you can just ask one question. Just ask one question and just go from there. Most customers would probably be okay answering one question. It's just when you start to make more and more demands. So, and even going back to making it easy, how many stores have the till hidden? How many stores make it difficult for people to buy? How many online websites don't have the phone number that they want you to call up top in bright letters saying, call us here? Say, oh, how do you do your business? Oh, we get a lot of online calls. Oh, and so people find you on your website? Yeah. Okay, where's your phone number? Oh, it's on the bottom. It's on the bottom, and you have to click through 4 things to get there. Yeah, good luck making people want to do anything in this day and age when people don't even want to take care of their bodies, which is another topic. But anyways, consider enhancements to products and services. Look at your product suite and see how you can enhance each item. offer extended warranties, bulk purchase deals, support packages, maintenance packages, or any other enhancement that will enable you to increase sales through each purchase your customer makes. And again, a lot of people like these sort of things because they want that reassurance. Establish your monthly loss leader. These are items that you can sell at a small loss or even just to break even to encourage people to visit your business and make additional purchases. Set up point of sale offers. These are small, cheap impulse purchase that customers can make at the counter or as they pass through your shopping cart online. They can be anything that a customer will buy impulsively for a small price to boost your revenue through incremental sales. So let's say you have an online website and something simple you can do if you want to increase the branding of it is you can involve something that's at 10% of the cost. So you can involve something like a wristband or a hat, whatever it is, depending on what the person is buying. So remember, all we need is just one person in every 10 to buy more than one item, and we've hit the 10% target for this lever. So with something like a wristband, I personally really love wristbands, but let's say you have an online ebook or you're trying to market your brand. Let's say you're a fitness model. Well, you can offer somebody to eat it, essentially. You can even offer it at cost for you. You can offer it at $1 or whatever it costs you, or you could offer it at a slight profit. So you charge them $2 or $3 after they've bought your ebook, after they've bought your shirt. And okay, so let's say they buy more stuff. Let's say they buy whatever it is, a $100 item. And then you could offer them a hat or something like that. And you could even say, buy the hat and then get 2 wristbands free. And there's many ways, again, that all of these can be leveraged. So lever number 5, average sales price. To achieve an enhanced average sales price, you're looking at increasing the selling price of each item to gain more revenue from every single sale. Oh, and as a side note on the last one, if you run a business where you are mailing things out, what you could do to ensure that this person wears this product is, and again, everything is just about conversion. So maybe some people get the free stuff and they'll never put it on, and you're like, oh, well, what's the point of that? So what you could do is you could have a handwritten letter and you just write, thank you for supporting the brand. Enjoy your free product XYZ. And I guarantee you, if you look at the amount, if you could track this in some way, that this just in no way would it decrease it. It can only have a positive effect. Seeing somebody's handwritten letter and just pretty much encouraging you to do just that, wear that product. It's just more incentive. It's just making you feel like you're a part of something bigger. It's tapping into the reciprocity factor. You want to do this because this person went above and beyond and made an extra effort for you. So getting back to the sales price, there are many ways to do this, but offering a discount is not one of them. Your aim is to increase the average sales price, not decrease it. Instead, you're going to come from this at an opposite angle. How can you increase more value in the eyes of the customer so that you can justify increasing your price? This means looking at all of your products and services in terms of value, not price. Establishing exactly what benefit your customers get for their investment, and then communicating that effectively. Value can be added through an enhanced sales price, expertise, knowledge, advice given prior to purchase, brand strength, guarantees, and even things such as how your product is packaged, dispatched, or presented. Increase your prices. If you put your prices up by 10% without changing anything, what's the worst that could happen? If you give them an exemplary service, you may lose a couple of clients, but you could still be better off overall in that the customers you lose, as I'll later touch upon, they can be the biggest headaches. If at 10% they're already leaving you, they were maybe not your best customers to begin with, or the ones you want to be marketing to in the first place. So even if you then discount your price again through special offers, you're still no worse off than you were. So one thing you can do if you're in a business where you're dealing with a lot of one-to-one, let's say you're doing some coaching or some sort of consulting, one thing you could do is offer, and this is something that never made sense to me as far as a referral, is why would you give an incentive to the new person coming onto your team as opposed to the person bringing them on board? So why not give the person referring the person some incentive? So you say, I'll give you 20% off of the person that purchases or I'll give you 20% back from the person that purchased. So let's say this new person comes on board and they purchase $100, whatever it is, session, whatever it is, you give $20 to the other person. This actually takes, because you don't know who this new customer is. This new customer might be a massive asshole, and they might fall into that type of person that where you lose, similar to that person that you're losing, but so what? You don't know who they are. So with this new person, you don't necessarily want to award them anything because you don't know who they are. Whereas with this other person, one, they're referring you business. Two, this other person could be a beaut as well. So you want to reward them. They've stuck with you. They've given you money before. You want to be rewarding that customer. And then at that point, what you can do is, the whole point of this is, you could say, I'll give you 20%, and say, okay. And then they bring you somebody, and then you just charge this person 20% more. And then this other person, if this other person ever gets mad, then you say, look, my prices have gone up. You were a prior customer, so I'm giving you the old rate. I hope you can appreciate that, because at this point, the reason that I offer that was more so trying to give back to you. It's not that I'm necessarily starved for customers, but I really do want to try and give back to you. And have you enjoyed my service? They're like, yeah, of course. You say, well, do you think other people would enjoy it? It's like, yeah, that's why I referred them over to you. And then you say, okay, cool. Well, I mean, that's just the way it works, but I hope you can appreciate my position, because all I was trying to do was give back something to you. And yeah, at that point, they probably shouldn't have any problem with it. And if they do, well, they're a fucking headache. So offer exclusivity. Customers love to feel that they're getting a differentiated service. Offer exclusive limited specials that come at a higher price. Speak to your suppliers to see what they can offer to support you to make the change. Maximize the thud factor. This is the moment when your product or service lands on your customer's desk and they realize they have been given a really comprehensive service. More is of 10 associated with better. So if you increase the number of items sold or add more variety to a package, you'll increase the perception of value. Online businesses, for example, can supplement an ebook with videos, audio transcripts, and printable checklists to maximize perceived value and gain more of a thud factor. Another thing you can do with an ebook, if you are an individual, let's say you're an individual writing that ebook. I don't know why, but I don't see this being done much at all anywhere, is you can offer individual one-on-one consultations afterwards, because whatever information product they're buying, there is a certain amount of people that will be curious for more. And if they know that that's available, and you could even make it an exclusivity type thing, again, you can use scarcity if you want, or you could keep it as something that they can do later on, but that doesn't really give them much incentive to buy it. But you could offer a package, a 1 hour, 3 hour, 5 hour, as an upsell when they buy the ebook. So you could increase your thud factor as well there, depending on who you are and what it is, and if you really don't have a lot of clients. But even if you do, well, just make them pay for the, you have the ebook, and then you just say, if you want one-on-one, here's what it is. And you can have it like that. Be a market leader. Establish your expertise and use it to justify your increased prices as a market leader. You can do this by writing a book and publishing it on CreateSpace or Kindle, or by arranging to speak at events and seminars. And I would actually highly suggest checking out the 4-Hour Workweek. Tim Ferriss in it. You can find this book online on YouTube. You'll be able to find the audiobook, but you can also Google the table of contents, and he talks about how to become an expert virtually. I think it was like 3 or 4 weeks. And he has a step-by-step process as far as getting, quote, accredited with knowing something, which is very funny in this world. Value yourself and your business. Are you valuing yourself properly? Make sure your prices value you properly. Show all of your costs and explain them so that you can compete successfully on product quality, range, and service. You'll attract a higher class of clients, which means fewer hassles and easier sales. You are worth it. Your business is worth it. Be confident. Lever 6, transactions per customer. In essence, transaction per customer relates to increasing the amount of times that any person buys from you in a particular time period. The key to increasing your transaction lies in automating the process so you can get it set up and then forget about it. All we need to do is persuade 1 in 10 customers to buy from us in any given time period. We can do this through a number of mechanisms, including direct response, follow-up marketing, implied commitment, and consistency through loyal reward programs, forced transactions, and automated follow-ups. So, follow-up marketing. It's important to develop a schedule of automated marketing using tools such as Aweber, MailChimp, or Constant Contact to remind your customers to transact again. So, something you can do, getting back into the bundles. So, let's say you even just start the bundles today. Let's say you have business online. You have online business XYZ and you sell things. And you're like, oh, I want to try this bundle thing and see if that works a little bit better. What you could do then is remarket to the people that have already bought from you. Even if they didn't even buy that, they may be interested in a bundle that includes, let's say, one of the other products or is slightly related to it. If you have a very niche website where all of the products are very related to begin with. Your schedule could include SMS reminders, emails, direct mail, or sales call. Once a customer has made an initial purchase, get them to sign up to ongoing communications that identify, for example, when their product has run out, and then remind them to reorder. Each product line or service that you provide can have a series of funnels allowing you to segment your client base and ask for additional transactions. So this can be done at the end of the purchase, so you can even let them know, oh, product XYZ expires here, or product XYZ, or it's suggested, or one thing you can do is say, a certain amount of people that have bought this product have found this helpful, and it's suggested that you use this after 6 months, 3 months, whatever it is. Would you like to purchase this? Just again, asking for the sale, because there's a certain amount of people that will love that sort of thing being added on there. Information marketing. No matter what sector you work in, you can set up information marketing to encourage repeat transactions. Your article should be informative and helpful, but always have a prompt to make it easy for your customers to engage in repeat business. And this can be a little bit debated as far as whether or not you should always have a prompt. It depends. Whatever floats your boat, whatever makes you feel comfortable. As Gary Vaynerchuk says, he says hook. He says jab, 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 right hook. So give people quality, give people value, give people quality, give people value, ask for the sale. However you want to structure that, it's up to you. Training your staff. Get your sales team to make scheduled follow-up calls to customers to check how they are getting on and suggest further products at set times. Offers and education. By becoming and identifying yourself as an expert in your field, you can provide your customers with informative communication that provide advice on what products they may benefit from at set times. Boost the effectiveness of this by providing a special offer to people who take you up on the advice. So let's say you have a supplement store online. What you could do if you notice that somebody bought a fat loss supplement or they bought a weight gain supplement is market something neutral afterwards and see how that goes. Or market another fat loss supplement, see how that goes. Or market the exact opposite thing and see how that goes. Split test all three of those. Or you can just say, you know what, depending on what it is, you might even want to do a follow-up email. If you're really trying to grow the brand and you don't have that many customers, one thing you could do is say, hey, I'm the owner of the company. I see that you bought this item this amount of time ago, and I was wondering, how was your experience with it, and how's everything been for you since then? And you can follow up like that. Just build that relationship with them in that manner. Offers and education. By becoming and identifying yourself as an expert in your field, you can provide your customers with informative communications that provide advice on what products they may benefit from at set times. Boost the effectiveness by providing special offers to people who take you up on this advice. The marketing funnel. When a customer buys a particular product, place them into a segmented marketing funnel that provides them tailored support and messages to encourage repeat sales. Set up loyalty and reward programs to track data and provide incentives for repeat customers. You're looking to establish an ongoing automated stream of back-end income, continually purchased from you on a regular basis. Providing ongoing support and membership forums. So this is pretty much exactly what I said in reaching out for the customer. Obviously, if you're a big company, that's not necessarily possible. If you're Ryan DeLuca, Ryan DeLuca is probably not going to be emailing me after this video to find out how much I like bodybuilding purchase XYZ. But if you're a smaller company and you have time in the day and you want to try and increase one of these 7 levers, this is something very simple that you can do with all of your customers. Even if you only have a few customers, you'd be surprised at how far something like that can go. And at the end of the day, if you're just sitting around twiddling your thumbs, it's better than doing just that. So use community membership areas, forums, user groups, associations, and elite memberships to provide information and support, which always link back to your sales stream. Or don't. As far as linking back to your sales stream, again, it's all about finding your personal comfort level with this. So maybe you just want to provide great value for the people for now, and then later on, as you start to build more of a base, then you link it back. Then when the quality and the value has been provided a lot more, then you link it back. Whatever floats your boat. Repeat billing. Recurring payments is one of the fastest ways to pull this lever. Allow your customers the option of signing up to ongoing purchases that require automated payments at set intervals. So one thing you can do if somebody's buying a purchase, so let's say it's an online supplement store, let's stick with that theme, is if they're buying a purchase, if they're buying a certain product and generally see how quickly it runs out, you might even suggest, this runs out after this many months. Would you like us to bill you again for another one at this point? Just throwing it out there, having that offer there. If you never ask for the sale, ask and you shall receive. Lever 7, profit margin. The final lever relates to how much profit you make from every sale that takes place. Your goal here is to increase and differentiate the cost of producing your product and the prices to which you sell it. We've already addressed with previous layers how to increase the sales price. So here, we'll focus on reducing production costs. So negotiate with your suppliers. Make sure you're getting the best deals when you source from your suppliers. It's always worth negotiating to get an enhanced rate, and you can do this in a variety of ways. Offer a joint promotion where you help them sell more items, or offer to help them move slow selling stock on a consignment basis. Consider asking for a rebate once you've achieved a certain volume of sales, or negotiate a discount for regular customers. Build up positive supply relationships where you can offer mutual benefits for your customer and then maintain them. And if this supplier is massive and they're just like huge and it's not going to be that, you're not going to have really much of a personal basis with them, then what you could do is you could just call them and just ask them for 10% off. And people would be surprised in general, just calling up, asking your phone provider, asking your internet provider, asking your television provider, asking whatever it is, whatever company you're with, just ask them for 10% off and say, well, I've been with you for a certain amount of time, giving you a lot of business. Can you give me 10% off? People would be surprised. And even if that works a very small percentage of the time, when it does, hey, why not? Again, if you're sitting around twiddling your thumbs, why not make this call? Improve your product lines. Choose what you sell carefully. Opt for high margin products and services and train your sales staff to push these to your customers. Provide incentives and commission when high margin items are sold. Consider additional services that are cheap to produce but can still be sold at a high price. Knowledge and information always have huge margin potential. So write ebooks and guides, provide training, and develop complementary products that have a low outlay but a high value to your customers. And you don't always have to push high-end products. Sometimes just the confidence that the person gets in being sold to correctly, if you're selling to them down the line and they're going to be a consistent customer, then it might be more worthwhile for you to not upsell them at this point, realizing that they're going to come back to you and buy more things in the future. Stop discounting. Seriously, stop discounting your products and services. Don't offer deals to your clients unless they ask. And then only if you feel that you are investing in a long-term lucrative relationship. Reduce expenditure. Take a look at how you can reduce your outgoings. While this doesn't directly impact your 10% margin per sale, it can significantly improve your overall profit. Work from home, share offices, have virtual staff, negotiate deals with utility suppliers, whatever it takes to cut down expenditure and make your product generate income, which is not used up needlessly elsewhere. So, using things like Elance or Odesk, a lot of people will contact regular local companies and say, oh, I need this done, I need that done, because they're thinking, oh, well, that's the only place to find it. Oftentimes, you might find better service online for cheaper, which is crazy to think about, but that exists in this world. Partnerships. So consider entering into partnerships with other firms that can provide you with an enhanced product or service with increased margins. Share marketing, share knowledge, share customers, and enhance your products to sell them at a higher rate. One thing I recently heard about, I shouldn't say recently heard about, but it was an interview that specifically talked about this. I'd heard about this quite a while ago, but there was this gym and they went around to a lot of the bigger restaurants or food chains, and they actually managed to partner up with a relatively big one. It wasn't quite like Burger King or McDonald's or that big of a status, but they were really up there, and he just kept approaching them, and eventually he found a company that was willing to partner up with them, and they had a healthy menu specifically for the people that he sent his way, and he put his advertising there with them. It was just mutual benefit. So a lot of things can be leveraged as a mutual benefit. So you could ask yourself, what is something else that your customer is interested in? There's seldom ever somebody that's in a niche where their customer doesn't have another direct interest related to that. So if you could partner up with this other person, maybe they can offer lectures, maybe they can offer whatever it is, another product, and they sell at a discount, and you guys can work on some sort of joint venture. Joint ventures are a money way to get things done. Magic bullets and the 7 levers. So if you followed Pete Williams' blog and principles for a while, you'll often heard him refer to the idea of magic bullets, the shiny, enticing opportunities that drop onto our desks at the times that can distract us from our strategic direction and purpose. We've all been in a situation where we've been drawn to an idea, application, software package, or concept that has looked really useful, persuading us to pour time, effort, and cash into it, developing it, only to find out what we've invested in is the idea. It actually brings us nothing of value to our business. One of the true benefits of the 7 levers principle is that it provides a clear, foolproof way in assessing these magic bullets to determine just how useful they may be or how much profit they may lead to. By having a strong checklist in place to measure each potential new activity, you're able to dodge the bullets that will distract you from your overall business strategy and make sure that all of your business activities are targeted, profit-driven, and focused on long-term success. So you have a system in place, and this is what most small businesses lack. And when you look at how comprehensive this is, even if they have a semi-system in place that can most likely be improved, it's sort of like going to the gym and just randomly training things and expecting good results. Now, when you get on a split, you'll have better results than just being completely random. When you start doing research and you start experimenting, then you get even better results. After you put in a certain amount of time experimenting, again, on your own body, in the same way you experiment on your own business, you've learned your body, you see what it responds to. Maybe it's higher volume, maybe it's lower volume, maybe it's higher frequency, lower frequency. So experimenting in a lot of these things with your business, but being conscious about the experimentation, because a lot of businesses, they may experiment with something and not do it for too long, or they may be very unconscious about what they're doing. So having that system in place so that, as Michael Gerber says, you are creating a future franchise. Your business right now is serving as a platform for you to then create the McDonald's of whatever it is that you're doing. And you may not even want to get to that level, but think of it that way, because that's what having a system in place, that's what having a system allows you to do. The power of the 7 levers framework for your business. It's impossible to stress just how much the 7 levers principles can transform your approach to business and increase your profitability, productivity, and focus. The beauty of the system is that it takes just a few minutes each day to act on each lever, boosting profit through using the framework. With a lot of the things that I've suggested, if you're at your business for 8 hours a day, you will have downtime, you will have time where you're not doing anything. Just understanding this framework allows you to look for opportunities for you to reach out to customers and perhaps hit that home run of something that just really works really well for your own business. So the 7 levers lets you focus on all different drivers of your business every day. Every single thing you do for your business can be measured for effort, weighed up for return on investment, and put into context against the framework. The 7 levers framework prevents wasted energy, targets your approach, and lets you double your profit, all for just incremental improvements of just 10% in each category. It's time to work smarter, not harder. And this is so key. There's so much vulgar pride around working hard and not enough pride around working smart. But you now have everything you need to transform your business and double your profit. So let's get into the Preneur Hierarchy. What does the Preneur Hierarchy show us? It is the segmentation of the market that you need to be targeting, which works as follows. Number one, past customers. So people that have already bought with you. They're the best people. They know your product. They like you. They're confident with you. Number two, prospects and callers. So people looking for you on some level, deciding to engage with you. And number three, searchers in general. They're just searching for whatever it is that you provide. Again, why this is number three as opposed to number one? These people might not like you. They have no ties to you. They don't know who you are. So obviously the conversion rate of these people is going to be much lower. Procrastinators, number four. So people probably like they should be looking for you, but they're not. And then number five, which is people that you shouldn't even bother with, is the ignorant. So these go to show you a very important lesson in that not all customers are equal. If you treat all five of these as equal, you're screwing your business over. There is a basic advice. There's also basic advice within the pyramid beside it for retail stores in having a club card, enticing people to give you upfront payments for a slight percentage off, having sales script to ensure your sales process is the same and can be tweaked as needed if it's not working, and ensuring your Google Map is stocked with pictures, videos, and reviews. Reviews can be easily had just by asking for them and applying the very simple law of asking you shall receive that most are surprised to hear many stores don't do as far as in asking for the sale. But as we outlined, it is an issue. So online, autoresponder. So having a set email that you send out to anyone who's subscribed to your email list to get them engaged right away and jump on what could be a hot lead and potentially be the elite of the elite. So having some sort of sales letter to putting some sort of effort into the marketing and having a call to action, AdWords, SEO, again, link down below and for those two things as far as the AdWords and the SEO. And guest blog posts, either you guest blogging on somewhere else or having someone come onto your website to post their ideas and blog. Now, within all of these, you're going to have a segmentation within this top five list that is there within the Preneur Hierarchy. So the past customers, prospect callers, searchers, procrastinators, the ignorant. So you're going to have number one, the hyper responsive. Their attitude is fry.jpg, as in shut up and take my money. Number two, the responsive, who like to spend money with you. And number three, those who have no attachment to you and will immediately bail if something even possibly slightly, ever so slightly possibly better comes along. And that's within people that purchase. We're not even talking about segmentation as far as people that don't purchase. Now, you can subdivide everything into infinity, but that is the gist of who you will find within any of the top five. It just gets less and less that you will find number one as you go. So the hyper responsive person as you go beyond 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this is the infinite nature of the 80-20 principle and how it all ties back into this. So as far as a hyper responder, I'll give you guys a few examples. This is why Starbucks has a $3,000 espresso machine, because they know for a fact that of the 5,000 people that will walk through their doors over the course of the month, one of them will fall into a very small percentage of number ones, being a hyper responder. And this is also why stores like Walmart will have things as expensive as a few grand in their stores, because even though you can find them online for likely a few grand less, for a few hyper responders, the immediate need and convenience of having it in a physical place, not having to wait for it, will convince them to spend that money. As these are the sort of people that likely make way more than $100 or even a few $100s per hour. So it's actually no big deal for them to spend that money right here and right now, even though to a lot of people like, oh, it's so frivolous. It's actually not when you factor out how much they're making per hour, how much they're worth per hour. Because as opposed to going online and waiting through endless information and then saving $200 or $300 for 2 to 3 hours of work and having to wait 2 or 3 days, meanwhile, their time could be worth as much as 2 or 3 grand in salary. So number two, this is also why GoDaddy is the most popular hosting company. Are they the best? No. Do they have the most amazing product that no one else has? No, but what they do amazingly well is, if anybody has been on GoDaddy, they just have a trillion upsells that tap into the hyper-responsive customer, and they tap into the hyper-responsive customer in a way that pretty much sucks them dry. And they're able to get this out of a lot of people because a lot of people are really unaware of what they really need as far as a website. And number 3, you can use any sport or any concert to really illustrate the hyper-responsive nature of some individuals. You'll have people that will spend maybe a few dollars on some very cheap merchandise for team XYZ or for concert XYZ. They'll go there, they'll spend 10, 20 bucks, and that'll be it. Yet, these are customers, are they not? So shouldn't the team treat all customers the same? Everybody's equal, right? Not in the 80-20 way and maximizing profits. You will also have the hyper-responsive customer that goes to that very same concert, goes to that very same game. You know what they buy? They buy a luxury box. They buy the best tickets for 5 or 10 grand. So some of these people that are buying luxury boxes, they're buying things that could be worth upwards of $1 million. And hey, they have their friends there too. So their friends want to compete with them and they end up buying a box. So are these people going to get the same experience as everybody going there? No, and it's also why casinos, much like these sports teams, will say, oh, this is free. This is a gift from us to you, because they know it's not technically free. You're paying for it, but they just know that they can give back a certain amount and it's not a big deal. So what if a casino spends 20 or 30 grand on some guy that's going to drop 300 grand in their casino over a weekend? So what's the lesson here? 80-20 is infinite in the same way that purchasing is infinite. Somebody can spend $1, somebody can spend up to $1 million. There's some people that are so hyper responsive, they just want to give you money. They will give you as much money as you allow them to give you. So let's even look at the California coast to illustrate the infinity of 80-20. Let me ask you a question. How long is the California coast? Okay, but how long is it for a laser? For an Elon Musk rocket? For an F-16? For a regular plane, for a car, for a person, for a dog, for an ant? It's infinite. And the same principle can be applied to marketing, sales, and business. And it's why every business needs to have a product that would seem to be out of the customer's price range. But as long as the product is solid and the sales copy is good, you will sell it. So with the person selling the ebooks, this is why they need to offer consulting with it, specifically if they are looking for more business. You will have a certain amount of people that will take you up on it if you know your product and if you know you can provide good consulting. You can provide them even more in-depth information. Why not? There's a certain amount of the market that will respond. And I'm going to go much deeper with the 80-20 concept, as with all of these in the future. But here is the most useful tool you'll ever find. And you can also YouTube Perry Marshall Sales and Marketing. So it's the 80-20 sales curve, and the link will be down below. So the first 2 fields are your customers. Fill them in both the same. And the third field can be what those specific customers have spent or the average that they spent. So let's say you're in business XYZ and you have 100 customers who have spent $10. So you can put in 100 in the first one, 100 in the second one, and 10 in the third one. But within them, let's say within that 100, you have 10 that have spent $30. You can also put in 10, 10, 30. And then the numbers you will see on that graph are the possible spendings, as far as the money that is being left on the table due to either not having any offer, not having a great offer, not making them see the value in the offer, or them being unaware that you had this great offer. So you might have this great offer, but it might be propositioned in a way that they might not see it. So are you tapping into the GoDaddy formula of upselling the hell out of your customer? So what is the framework for someone to capitalize on everything said? Well, it's using the 80-20 principle, albeit in a slightly different way, and a few other small tweaks that can make a huge difference. So let's get into the Super 7. Number 1 is highest value action first, and I'll say some of these and how I implement them just as far as my day-to-day life, but these are all applicable to businesses. So everything is coupled with a conscious realization of exactly what it is that I want to achieve, having my goal in mind. This is why it's very important you understand why you're starting the business, and then taking action based upon that. If I have goal XYZ, how does any and every action that I take in my life tie back into that? And if it is of low value, then I won't bother or try to avoid it, or at least leave it last as best as I can. So this is working in versus working on your business. So it's the approach that a lot of people have in business, in having their head down, taking footstep, 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 and thinking they're actually getting somewhere because, oh, well, all business actions are the same. Let me put it to you this way. So you could be a gym owner. Let's say you're a gym owner and you're like, oh, this gym is slightly dirty. I need to clean it. Okay, fair point. Is that your highest value action first? Meaning maybe you got a phone call from 3 or 4 customers. Maybe one of them, who knows? Maybe one of them is that hyper responder. Maybe one of them is a sports coach that's calling you to say, hey, we have a team that wants to train there. Can all of us come and train? Oh, we actually want to train at a time that your gym isn't open, so we won't be bothering anybody. You could have that customer. But they could be also calling other gyms. They might get a phone call from another gym by the time you call them back. They say, oh, thank you for calling us back, but we've actually set up with another gym. It's realizing what's important to your business and what's important right now. So with the 7 levers, what is the most important one? What's the highest value? And what's the most immediate tweak that can bring you the biggest change right now? Speed of implementation, that's number 2. So when I get a good idea, I implement it. It's as simple as that. Most people's issues is that they're not using the highest value action first formula. And then the good ideas they do have, if they even do implement them, the moment or train can have left. So it's like that hot prospect where you lose them. So you end up being in this very weird spot where you second guess yourself based on your idea, but it wasn't necessarily the idea. It was more so the execution, the speed of implementation of that idea, in that they allocated resources to other areas of lower need and may have entirely foregone a much better opportunity to let this opportunity sit for too long. So it's like that hot prospect that leaves. So, I mean, luckily, opportunities are like buses. And in a world of light speed change, change being the precursor for opportunity, well, there's always another one coming. But you do want to keep this in mind. But notice, though, it was not the idea. And this can actually be very discouraging as far as your idea generation in the future, because you begin to doubt yourself, not based on the actual idea, but because you waited so long to implement it, then you're like, oh, it was just a bad idea. Maybe I'm just not that great of a thinker. And you begin to dip into the scarcity mentality. You begin to dip into a negative mentality, which is an absolute killer for a lot of people. Number 3, experimentation. So with one of these, if you crank one of these 7 lever dials, I guarantee you that one of them will kill it for you. One of them will be absolutely amazing for your niche. It's just a matter of finding that one and making that effort. And that's what the framework allows you to do, is have the framework for it. You begin to tweak, you begin to see, you give it some time. You don't just do this for a day and say, oh, this doesn't work. You give it some time and you find your moneymaker, and then you just crank the hell out of it, because everything is 80-20. So think about weight training. Weight training can be broken down into very simple things. As far as if you were to go into the gym and just squat, deadlift, and bench, you might be in and out of the gym three times a week for 30 minutes. You're in there for 90 minutes, and you could get way better results than 99% of people in general. Now, as far as optimizing, is it optimized? No, not necessarily. But you're maximizing what you're doing. So the 80-20 thing, it applies to everywhere. You're getting 80% of the results from 20% of the action. Now, to get that next little bit, it's as Tim Ferriss says, to get 95% proficiency within a language, you can achieve that within 6 years. 5 to 6 months. To get that extra 5%, to get to really high levels, you're going to take another 5 to 6 years. So experiment with these, turn those dials, and look for the one that's really going to crush it. And when you realize that that's your high value action, and really crush it. Really seek to tweak that dial. Opportunity cost. So everything I'm doing is coupled with a conscious contemplation of everything I could be doing. This is not to say I don't focus or I multitask. It's actually just the opposite. If I'm doing something, I'm applying the 48 laws of power, principle number 28, of entering every action with boldness. Meaning that, as the old saying goes, if something is worth being done, it's worth being done correctly. So breathe deep, 100% focus in the here and the now, and get shit done. Once you commit, meaning once you have contemplated what else you could be doing, how it ties to the highest value action first, then go as deep as you can with it. And a lot of these things, so for example, that gym owner who takes the time to clean his gym, as opposed to making that call, it's not that cleaning the gym is the worst thing he could be doing. Obviously, snorting heroin in the middle of the gym would be a little bit worse. But as far as what he could be doing in making those phone calls, that is something that is much better. And it's just a much higher use of his time. So in understanding opportunity costs, everything is opportunity costs. You could always be doing something else. You could be at the gym right now. You could be watching TV right now. You could be doing a variety of things. But understanding that and how it ties back to highest value action first, oh man, you're going to be a money person. So return on investment. So looking for things that are low risk, high return, which is why the speed of implementation should be instantaneous after evaluating which one of these is easiest to change, coupled with the one that could bring the highest yield. With a lot of these, some of these changes are so instantaneous, like putting your phone number up top so that people can see it. Having an upsell. These are things that can be done within this video. Like you might make a lot of these changes quicker than this video runs. And these things can have a massive return. But it's the idea of working smart, not working hard. So number 6 is the sunken cost fallacy. So this is not something that anybody wants to practice. All of your interactions and external input should be in constant evaluation. So this can be tied back to business, but tying it on a very personal level, if your friends are spiraling to a negative place, or if they're partaking in too many no value or even negative value inputs, cut them out and reallocate your resources to something of higher value. To quote Jean-Baptiste Say, the entrepreneur shifts economic resources out of an area of lower into an area of higher productivity and greater yield. So you can apply this in your relationships, but even on YouTube and other online avenues, apply the same concept. If you're not deriving high value from a channel, website, forum, or if it has reached the point of conscious competence, which is another topic I'll get into in a different time, to where you have internalized the material and can probably teach it to most, unsubscribe and get to putting your mental resources to better use. Be very wary of the sunken cost fallacy and the scholar's trap, to where you start out learning something, you learn it, and then you continue going over the material that isn't adding any value to your life. So the sunken cost can apply to any business, because a lot of businesses, they might be like, oh, I know everything, I know what I'm doing, and thus they might be very wary to change. So they feel that they've invested a certain amount of time. It's like certain people that start a book and they feel they need to finish it, even though the book sucks and they're not getting any value from it. So why are you finishing it? And number 7, always, always, always value smart work over hard work. There is no pride in working hard. Okay, there are kids working in sweatshops that are working 12 or 16-hour days. Those kids are working hard. Those kids are probably working relative to their 100% capacity. Would you say, though, that's the best use of their time? Is that the best use of their minds? Of course not. They're in a position where they have to work hard and not work smart. So always look for opportunities to work smart. The people that brag, oh, I do 16-hour days and I don't get paid, those are the people that are working hard, but they're not working smart, and there is no pride in that. Just because you step on a treadmill, this is the quote, Fight Mediocrity. He has a very good video on this. Just because you step on a treadmill and you get on that treadmill, you work out for 6 hours a day and you get mediocre results, because then you eat 30,000 calories, and the 30,000 calories are coming from tubs of lard, and the bodybuilder or that person that goes to the gym for half an hour 3 times a week gets marvelous results because they've optimized what they're doing. It's the same principle, and you'll see the same principle over and over again. You'll see it everywhere in life. You'll see the people that like working hard, the slow laners, and the people that like working hard, which are the fast laners. And that's where you want to be. Everything I've said here today, none of these things are mind-blowing concepts. None of these things are new. Everything here is available for everybody. And these things can make a massive difference in a business, in the same way that the person going to the gym, let's say this person, at the end of the day, most people that go to the gym do basically the same thing. They go to the gym, they do some sort of cardio, and they do some sort of weights. But the results are drastically different because of all the things outside of it. So again, all the levers outside, and you can have the 7 levers for everything. But so their diet, is their diet on point? Are they counting macros? Are they getting enough sleep? Are they getting enough water? Are they tracking their lifts? Are they progressively overloading themselves? Are they doing the correct lifts? Are they using optimal frequency? How is their programming? How is their posture? How is their body aligned? Is their body aligned for perfect gains? All of these things. So for example, stretching for 5 minutes a day can make such a huge difference in your gains as far as aligning you properly. But some people work hard. Some people go to the gym 2 or 3 hours to get mediocre results. Whereas if they count their macros, just progressively overload themselves, stretch for a bit, they can get way better results in way less time. So with all of these in place, let's sum them up. Number one, have a clear goal of why you are getting into the business and not just relying on an entrepreneurial sneeze. While being an entrepreneur is great, it's been over-venerated by society, and there's a lot of people that either they don't have the capacity to work hard, meaning that once they found the correct things, they're not willing to execute in that extreme way. They're not willing to really crank the dial, or they just don't want to work smart, and they have a vulgar pride tied to hard work as opposed to smart work. They have a sunken cost fallacy in associating making more money with working harder. When, as I said, that person going to the gym, their life could be made infinitely easier just by sharing them some of the concepts of how to train properly. So they might actually start working out less, they might start eating better food, they might start eating food that they enjoy more through, let's say, something like if it fits your macros, and they might get better results. Same thing with business. So number two, understanding the 7 levers, focusing on one for at least a week and doing small tweaks that can have huge returns on the others. Because some of these others, if you're in a business for 6 to 8 hours, then you will have time to just play around, to muck around with them, to get in contact with your customers, to maximize every interaction you're doing with your customer. So in just being conscious of these, you will find money for your business or for other businesses that was already there. So again, recapping them is traffic, opt-ins, conversions, items per sale, average sales price, transactions per customer, and profit, or Toki-ATP, Toki.ATP. If you want to write that down, or if you want to say that to really remember them, Toki-ATP, Toki-ATP. You can say some 10 times out loud to remember it, and it'll be pretty much ingrained in your brain. And that's actually a good tip in general. I'll get into that another time. So number 3, using the Preneur Hierarchy and the 80-20 rule, plus the curve, to market to your best customers, to continually market to them, and to really maximize your profits from your hyper-responsive, shut up and take my money, most valuable, and ironically, your best customers. Because oftentimes you'll find the people that are seemingly spending the same amount because you haven't given your best customers the opportunity to spend more. Some of these lower end clients are the ones that will end up being the biggest headaches. Number 4, using the Super 7 when you do anything in life, but especially in business, in identifying what is best use of your time, money, and energy. What is low risk, high return, implementing things ASAP, experimenting as in being open to trying new things, and always looking for ways to improve the current product. Understanding your own opportunity cost, which is so crucial when combined with the highest value action first, meaning that everything you're doing is coupled with the conscious contemplation of what you could be doing, but when you decide on something, you really go balls deep in it. So looking for the highest return on the lowest investment, not being attached to anything, and always, always, always valuing smart work over hard work. There are self-made teenage millionaires on the internet. Meanwhile, there are people putting in 12 hours busting their ass in manual labor. Who's working hard? Who's working smart? So at this point in time, you're so far ahead of the average business owner, it's not even funny. If you need to, go back and re-listen to this video. But I will have a lot of this stuff in the description, so you'll be able to find there, and I will have a transcript of this video so you can review it if you prefer reading. But if you don't believe me, feel free to use this template and go to any small or independent business, or even some of the bigger corporations, because remember, even 50% of Fortune 500 companies have failed in the last 25 years. And tell me there aren't massive glaring holes. I hope it's been of use. Fitness, business, success. Optimize and achieve. Peace out, everyone.